is Elena Ra, and I've decided to start making some podcasts. We've just arrived into the new age, and wasn't 2012 quite a year? Lots of change, lots of shifting, lots of pulling away or scraping away of the ego and the shadow, and for us to come to terms to who we really are as human beings. And what I realize is that nothing is really set in stone, and we're always in a position of choice to move through aspects that hold us hostage. Last year was very much about moving from it was a period of transformation, deep transformation, and the closest analogy I can use is like that of the caterpillar moving into a pupa stage. And we were very much, and some of us are still there, and I would actually say that part of myself is still emerging, should I say, out of the chrysalis. And it was a period where it was a death of the old, and this is still ongoing as we are reintroduced into the new paradigm. It was a death of the old ways of duality, of me, and the ego and the mind, and clearing away of all of that, or if nothing else, reconstitution of that into a place whereby there is the ability to respond and to nip things in the bud and eventually clear it all away. There have been many waves of clearing that have been happening and still continue to. And what I'd really like to talk about today is about being authentic in who you are, in your divinity, in your sovereignty. And if you're walking the path whereby you are growing and you are evolving, some people call it ascending, but even for those people who have been here through many incarnations, there's still stuff to clear, and that's why we're here. Life is a school. Earth is a place where we learn about who we are. And in fact, I used to think that we were here to learn, but actually we're here to remember, because truly we are born completely open and completely clear, and it's through the conditioning and the programming of life's events which create our story that quite often determine who we are. And a lot of this, in terms of how we see ourselves and where we place our identity, comes about through identifying to these aspects that play themselves out. And there's drama's playing itself out now. Are you going to identify to it, or are you going to remember who you are? Now, in terms of being authentic, there are aspects of the human soul, such as the ego and the shadow archetypes, aspects of the shadow that have been held hostage for a really long time. It's aspects of the human condition that we have chosen not to address and not to look at. So therefore they have been able to remain in the shadows, and they end up controlling or affecting you from the background, and quite often they just raise their ugly head and cause havoc. So just recently I realized that there's aspects of my personality that can be controlling, can be demanding, and even judgmental. And this has been very difficult for me to look at, but it's very important that I do, and it's very important that we all look at these aspects of ourselves and bring them out to the light of day, so we can clear them, so we can allow light on them, so we can hold them, so we can heal them, because they're just aspects of our story that have affected us through life. So for example, it could be when you were a child and you felt abandoned. And what happens with that? If it's not dealt with, if you're not held during that period, what happens? You're left alone with that. And sometimes we learn coping mechanisms that may felt as if they served us at that time. But as we continue through life, we realize that they really don't, and they never really did serve us. They just created a protective shield around us that kept the world at bay, and also created models of the world, that the world's a lonely place or the world's a scary place. And the only way to really shift these is to talk about them and to expose them. And this is it. This is what we're here to do. Come out of our closets. Come out of every single closet, even the most difficult ones. The aspects of the ego and the aspects of the shadow that hold us hostage. And that doesn't need to be the case, because deep inside there's more likely to be a young child or an adolescent that felt abandoned, that felt hard done by, that froze somewhere along the line. And when the heart freezes, or when the soul freezes, then it's very difficult to let love in and to live completely. And I know that we all want to be fully expressed, and we all want to feel that freedom of life, to breathe the air and know that, we are sovereign and that we are lovable. And of course we are. We are children of Mother, Father, God. And we are God's self, experiencing God's self. And once we open up to the light, and we bring everything up to the light of day, and heal it, and hold it, and love it, understand it, move through it, embrace it, then all can be released. And this aspect of the human condition can then be normalized and therefore humanized. And this is what we're here to do. And the change begins within you, and the change begins within me. I thank you so much for sharing this time with me. My name is Elena Ra, and I love you. I see the God in you. Namaste.